Let's talk about the most important man in Tony Soprano's life. It wasn't Polly Walnuts. It wasn't Uncle Junior, it wasn't even Dottore Melfi. The man who truly shaped Tony's destiny, whose shadow he could never escape, was his father, Johnny Boy Soprano. A legend. A gangster. And a prolific, un repentant adulterer. Tony inherited everything from his father, his business, his temper, his sense of entitlement. And he inherited this. The belief that a woman waiting at home was just one part of a man's world. That infidelity wasn't a betrayal, but a privilege of power. Tony didn't invent his problem. He inherited it, but he would spend his life, and his therapy, trying to understand why this particular inheritance felt like a curse, and why he could never seem to give it back. To understand the gravity of Tony's cheating, you have to first understand the sanctuary he was violating. The Soprano household. It wasn't just a house, it was Tony's only real claim to legitimacy. Out in the world, he was a predator. In that kitchen, with Carmela making pasta, he was a man. A father. A husband. This was his fragile kingdom of normalcy. And Carmela was its queen. She was his anchor to a world that made sense, a world with rules and consequences that weren't just about life and death. But that anchor also chafed. She represented conscience, stability, and a relentless demand for a better future. She was, in a word, pressure. The very pressure he was supposedly providing for. So when the walls of that beautiful, pressure cooker room closed in, Tony didn't just feel stress. He felt a biological need for flight. And his mistresses weren't just lovers. They were life rats. They were places where he could stop performing, where he could exhale the lie of being the good provider and just be the animal he was. Let's examine the evidence. The mistresses. Look at them not as women, but as symptoms. His first major affair we see is with Irina, a Russian flight attendant. She is childlike, dependent, and emotionally shallow. She asks for nothing but his presence. She makes no moral judgments. She's, in essence, an escape into simplicity. Then, there's Gloria Trillo. This is the most revealing. Gloria is volatile, brilliant, manipulative, and deeply depressed. She is, as Dottore Melfi points out, startlingly like Livia, Tony's mother. Tony isn't running from his mother, he's trying to conquer her. He's trying to win the love and fix the damage of a Livia-like figure, to finally get the nurturing he never received. And he fails, catastrophically. It proves he can't outrun his childhood, even in the arms of another woman. Finally, there's Valentina. She's connected to his crew, entangled in his world. With her, there's no pretense of a separate life. She's a mistress who speaks the language of his crimes. Each woman represents a different failed strategy, the escape into simplicity, the attempt to heal the past, and the surrender to his dark world. But this is not a one-sided story. This is about a marriage. Carmela Soprano is not a naive victim. She knows. She always knows, on some level. Her choice to stay, to build a spec house with his blood money, to accept the fur coats and the jewelry, is her own compromise with the devil. Their marriage becomes a silent, brutal transaction. Tony provides material security and protection, Carmela provides the facade of a family and, to a limited extent, absolution. His cheating violates this unspoken contract. It's not the immorality that wounds Carmela most deeply, it's the insult. It's the redistribution of his emotional and financial resources. The stolen time, the money spent on gifts and apartments. Every affair is a withdrawal from the family bank, and Carmela is the furious accountant. Their epic fights, "I didn't hurt nobody. You hurt me," aren't about love, they're about a breached business deal. Tony's problem isn't just that he cheats. It's that he's a bad businessman, mismanaging the most important asset of his life. So where does this leave the man in the middle? In Dr. Melfi's office. Therapy is Tony's other mistress, in a way. Another secret space where he can confess and be seen. And here, we see the true cause to the panic attacks. They don't come when he's in danger. They come in moments of domestic tranquility, a family barbecue, a quiet dinner. It's the guilt and the cognitive dissonance that short-circuit his brain. He is living two lives, and his psyche is the battleground. Dottore. Melfi offers him a path to integration, to become one, whole person. But Tony uses therapy like he uses the bada bing, as a tool to feel better in the moment, not to actually change. He wants the symptom, the anxiety, to go away so he can continue the disease, the cheating, in peace. He wants Melfi to fix the lock on the door between his two worlds, not to help him tear the wall down. In the grand, tragic arc of Tony Soprano, the cheating is the engine of his stagnation. Every season, he faces new enemies, new crises. But this pattern never changes. It is his true, unbreakable cycle. It proves that for all his power, he is powerless over his own nature. The final, heartbreaking irony is that Tony Soprano, a man who spent his life taking what he wanted, never understood what he truly needed. He needed the difficult, authentic connection he had with Carmela. He needed to be fully known, and fully accepted. But to be fully known was to be fully condemned, and he could not bear that judgment. So he settled for being partially adored by a string of women who only saw fragments of him. He died a king in his criminal world, but in his emotional world, he died a beggar, always searching for a love he systematically destroyed at home. His infidelity wasn't a side effect of being Tony Soprano. It was the proof. Thanks for watching, guys. If you like this type of videos, Sopranos or Gabagool, please like and subscribe.